Morning, Ron Raack, 10580 Southeast 131st Place, Ocklawaha. Commissioners, you have already agreed that rights are inherent, and those rights include life, liberty, property, and to defend those objects. Question is to whom do we defend them from? Who do I have the right to defend those objects from? Isn't it anyone who attempts to intrude on those rights, and it doesn't matter whether it is another citizen or the government, and any form of government, as a matter of fact. The second question that comes along with that is utilizing what manner? You know, I look at our situation today, and after last week's little debate, it caused me to do a ton of reading in 2 weeks. And the one thing I realized is that there are no patriots today, not compared to the men that founded this nation. Thomas Jefferson, his remedy for an out-of-control government was not the court system. And as a matter of fact, he said that the remedy was to tumultuously race to arms. That was his remedy. Was he wrong? Was he wrong? Is that the wrong way to deal with a government who consistently infringes on the rights of the people? Commissioner Bryan asked me to send you guys a letter giving examples of those violations, which I did the very same day that we had that meeting. I wrote you a 5-page letter, and it was extremely detailed. And what have I heard from you? Nothing. I recommend you look up the term acquiescence, because I also sent you a letter a long time ago, as well as the tax collector concerning property taxes and your authority to collect those taxes. And you know what I've heard from you? Nothing. Again, acquiescence. We went over this, that the Supreme Court ruled that silence is consent. But I want to read something here that Alexander Hamilton wrote, and this is Federalist Paper 33. And let's see what he had to say about taxes. Though a law, therefore, laying a tax for the use of the United States would be supreme in its nature and could not legally be opposed or controlled, yet a law for abrogating or preventing the collection of a tax laid by the authority of the state, unless upon imports and exports, would not be the supreme law of the land, but a usurpation of power not granted by the Constitution. Is he wrong? He's one of the writers. Is he wrong? But he says more than that. He says, as far as an improper accumulation of taxes on the same object might tend to render the collection difficult or precarious, this would be mutual inconvenience, not arising from a superiority or defect of power on either side, but from an injudicious exercise of power by one or the other in a manner equally disadvantageous to both. It is to be hoped and presumed, however, that mutual interest would dictate a concert in this respect, which would avoid any material inconvenience. The inference from the whole is that the individual states would, under the proposed Constitution, retain an independent and uncontrollable authority to raise revenue to any extent which they may stand in need by every kind of taxation except duties on imports and exports. And that's what we're facing today. Anytime they need more money, they go to the people instead of where they should be going, which we've. And Mr. Zalek, when I brought this up in September, you even agreed that the real way of taxing, when you mentioned Marco Rubio wanted to do away with property tax, you even agreed that the real way of taxing is not property tax, and it's unconstitutional. And I
did not agree that it was unconstitutional.
Oh, yes, you did.
I agree that sales tax is by far the more equitable way.
And I said it is constitutional, and you said it is constitutional. Those were your words. Those were your words, and I have that video still.
Well, that's awesome.
Yep. So with that, I'll bid you good day.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Raack.
Chair, Mr. Raack, you made a statement that you had heard no reply from the email that you had sent us, when in fact, I think that I was actually the one that forwarded your email over to Mr. Minter for reply, and you got a reply to your email on the 10th of February, in which you replied back to Mr. Minter on the 11th of February. So I will say, for me, that was my reply. Because of several of the things that you cited and brought up, Mr. Minter was the better person to answer that stuff.
But Mr. Minter is not the elected official here, you are.
You're asking
represents the
about
elected
case law,
officials.
and he represents us when it comes to asking about case law.
But he is
and
not,
different
he is
things
not the one who swore an
to law.
oath to protect and defend the Constitution. You are.
Thank you, Mr. Raack.
You still got your answer.
No, I did not. Not from you.
Yeah, you did.
All right, Ernest Valero.